Um, okay.
And
All right. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Deborah Dowds. I think most of you know. Hold on a second here. Okay. All right. My name is Deborah Dowds, and I'm the current president of the Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. For those of you who are not the board members that may already know that. I'm so very glad all of you could be with us today. We are excited about the work we have been doing and the direction we're heading that will be presented to you. We have a full agenda and with much to cover. So instead of having each of us go around and introduce ourselves, I will ask you to put your name in the chat box and who you represent so everybody can see who's here. Um, as all of you probably know, Healthy Start has involved community members in its work for at least the last 10 years through its annual meeting. At this meeting, we would normally have a program that might present some new aspect of our work. Community members would vote to approve Healthy Start board members for the next year. They would vote to approve any amendments to the Healthy Start bylaws and vote to approve the minutes of the last annual meeting. It is our opinion that this once-a-year meeting with a focus on Healthy Start's internal structure and functioning is not the best use of our community partners. All of the Healthy Starts across the state have spent the last 2 years working on a needs assessment of the prenatal and infant health care needs in their communities and developing a 5-year service delivery plan to address those needs. Our Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition has completed the same process. All of you were invited to participate along the way, and some of you attended some of our many meetings. What we found from the needs assessment were areas of need that were beyond the scope of our Healthy Start Coalition alone, and instead require the attention and effort of our community members and partners. The 5-year service delivery plan developed to address the areas of needs identified by the needs assessment will be discussed in more detail in the service delivery plan portion of the annual meeting. But basically, these areas are access to care, maternal mental health, substance use, and racial disparity in health outcomes. As you can tell, these are huge issues that will require comprehensive strategies from a wide range of services, programs, and individuals. Healthy Start, therefore, wants to shift the role of the community members to be active partners in addressing these needs and implementing the goals and objectives of the 5-year service delivery plan. Instead of a once-a-year meeting with you, we want to expand the community members involved to form a community partnership alliance. This alliance would meet regularly. We are proposing monthly for the area-focused work groups and quarterly for the full alliance. And we're not talking about community members just participating in meetings. We are talking about partnerships where we jointly work on these priority issues that affect the maternal and child health of this community. The role of the community members has been outlined in our Healthy Start bylaws, and the voting members were identified over 10 years ago. We think it is time to update our bylaws to reflect a community partnership alliance and expand the members to reflect the current makeup of our community. For the second half of this annual meeting, additional individuals and organizations that may have an interest in maternal and child health of our community have been invited to hear about the service delivery plan and to encourage their participation in their partnership in the Community Partnership Alliance to address the goals of the service delivery plan and improve the health and lives of mom, babies, and families in our community. Before we can shift this role of the Healthy Start community members, we need to carry out the function of the community members as stipulated in the current bylaws, and then update the bylaws to reflect this shift. Let me stop here just a minute, because this is a big shift from what we've been doing and in the formation of this alliance, and just to get any thoughts that you might have regarding this from our voting members. Is there anything that you'd like to share at this point before I move forward? righty. So the specific actions required of community members in the bylaws are, number one, an annual meeting of the community members, and in turn, approval of the minutes from the last year's annual meeting by the community members. Two, community members' approval of elected officials and board members for the upcoming year. Three, community members' approval of any revisions to the bylaws. And four, community members' approval of the 5-year service delivery plan. We will therefore be reviewing and asking for your approval of each of these items. The approval of the service delivery plan will take place in the service delivery plan portion of the meeting after you've heard the review of the service delivery plan. With approval of the proposed amendments to the bylaws, the Community Partnership Alliance will be created, and the role of the alliance will be clarified and reflect that it is the coalition's responsibility, not the community members, to approve the Healthy Start bylaws, amendments, board members, and officers in future service delivery plans. So the first item before us is the approval of the 2020 annual community meeting minutes. So you would have received the minutes from last year. Are there any questions or revisions requested to those minutes? Okay, can I get a motion from one of the voting members to approve the minutes?
So move.
Glenn, thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Karen. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, next, Chris is going to review, our executive director, the revisions to the Healthy Start bylaws. So I will turn this over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Deborah. Okay, I'm going to just briefly go through the recommended changes to the bylaws. The changes really just clarify who is part of the coalition and the duties of the coalition members. The first change we have is in Article 1, where we clearly define who the coalition is comprised of, and that is the Board of Directors, staff, and the Community Partnership Alliance. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to Article 2, in which we define the Community Partnership Alliance membership, who should be part of the alliance, and the duties of the alliance. And if anybody has any questions, you can certainly stop me. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because everybody should have received this prior to the meeting. In Section 2, we define the voting procedures for the Board of Directors. And then the next change comes in Article 3 under the organizational structure, where we define who the Board of Director officers are. And Section 2 defines who serves on the Board of Directors, how many people the board is made up of. Section 3, we clarified the term language. In Section 5 on the annual meeting, we cleaned up this language for the coalition's annual meeting and added the Community Partnership Alliance to the meeting, to this section. The same with Section 6 as far as the regular and special meetings. We added the Community Partnership Alliance language to this section. The other changes that we have to the bylaws really just, all of this remain the same. When we get down to Article 5, the powers and duties of the officers, we cleaned up once again the clarifying language here to define who the powers and duties are as far as the Board of Directors, and then cleaned up the language and responsibilities when it came to some of the officer positions, including the secretary position, and then the standing committee standing committees, language was cleaned up. We don't have a membership public awareness committee, but it was renamed Community Engagement Committee. And we added the Membership and Governance Committee. And this last section is just cleaning up the language as it comes to amending the bylaws. Does anybody have any questions about these changes?
Okay, so we need to approve these amendments to the bylaws. Can I get a motion to approve these amendments?
I'll definitely make a motion since I worked on them.
And I'll second.
Okay, thank you. All those, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed, say nay. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is review and approval of our 2021-22 Healthy Start Board of Directors and slate of officers. So up on the screen is the Healthy Start Board and officers for the board and the officers for 2021-22 that we are going to ask you to approve. And I would like to take a minute and recognize the board members that are here. Let's see, you see, I see Monica Hayes, just wave a little bit, and what is that guy? And I see, and you've heard Karen Nix has been motioning, and Glenn Robertson is here. And we have a new member, Jody Ann Livingston, you'll hear about. Audrey Moore is here. Lizette Mariner is here. Nikita Graham, I see. Sharon, Dr. Taronda Lee, Libby Stroud is a new member. Let's see, who else am I?
Jennifer Ziffer's here.
Oh, Jennifer, okay, thank you. Did I miss anybody? Okay, we got a good
I don't think
showing.
so. I think that's it.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so let's see, I think Karen, you're going to talk about, Karen Dix is going to talk about our new members and a slate of officers. Karen.
My name is Karen Wendland Dix, and I've served as the secretary the last couple of years, but also chair of the governance and membership committee. And so that's why Deborah's asking me to welcome our 3 newly elected board members. And they are, you guys have already been waving, but Jody Ann Livingstone. Wave again, Jody. There she is. She serves as an administrative law judge for the Division of Administrative Hearings and is the past president of the Florida Government General Counsels Association. So we're so pleased to have you join us, Jody. Lizette Mariner, also wave again, Lizette. There she is. She is a current executive director of the Florida Independent Automobile Dealers Association and serves on the board of Companion Animal Rescue Endeavor, which sounds awesome. So thank you, Lizette. And then Libby Stroud, wave again, Libby. She is a registered nurse, the clinical resource coordinator for North Florida Women's Care, and serves on Healthy Start's fetal and infant mortality case review team. And so, as I told Libby, we're really happy to have her on the board as someone who works in one of our provider offices and is what I would call on the front lines of medical care. So welcome, Libby. Our slate of officers that we're electing is Audrey Moore as our new president. Audrey, there she is. Monica Hayes is our president-elect. Monica, there you go. LaCrest Reed is our new secretary, and LaCrest is not here. And then April Lynn is going to continue into her second year as our treasurer. She's not here either yet. She usually signs on late because she's teaching a class. And then Deborah Dowd will serve as our immediate past president. And before Deborah calls for a vote on the slate, I do want to offer my personal thanks and recognition to Glenn and Taronda as they rotate off the board. They have been amazing, outstanding past presidents of our board. And really, Taronda's been such a driving force. I really, truly don't know what we're going to do without you. But hopefully you're staying in the alliance, right, babe? I mean, we're going to miss you so much. And then Glenn was an awesome chair. He's directly responsible for recruiting me onto the board. And yeah, you just did a super job as our president, Glenn. And not only are we going to miss you, but we're going to also miss you as the only man on our board currently. So I'm telling everybody here, we're in search of some male board members. So at any rate, Glenn, thank you so much for your service too. So with that, I'm going to hand it back to Deborah and we'll continue with the agenda.
Great, thank you, Karen. Thank you. Okay, are there any questions regarding our current or 2021-22 slate of board members and officers? Okay, can I get a motion to approve those those board members and officers?
I'll move. So moved.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, great.
Nikki,
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so I would like to take a moment to also recognize our outgoing board members. We have 3 of them. Shaq Simmons has been on the board since 2015. You may know Shaq. She's a pretty famous Tallahassee chef, and I remember how she donated a percentage of her proceeds to Healthy Start from one of her popular pop-up dinners. Glenn has been a board member since 2015, and he served in many capacities, particularly as president of the board and chair of the Public Policy and Advocacy Committee, where he has, just as Karen had mentioned, he's been the drive behind increasing the prenatal screens completed by the providers. Taronda has also been on the board since 2015 and provided strong leadership to Healthy Start as both the president for 2 terms and the chair of our Resource and Fund Development Committee, where she navigated us through the uncharted waters of fundraising during COVID. So let's see, and then would Glenn and Taronda, would you all like to say a few words?
Yeah, I'll just start off. Taronda, isn't it amazing how time flies when we're having so much fun? I think all of us here feel it's such a high priority. I don't think there's any bigger priority in a community than safeguarding the health of moms and babies. And my observations after 6 years really is oriented towards we need to expand our ability to do that. And with this board, I'm so impressed with the board quality and with the staff quality. As I'm leaving, I feel very, very gratified to have served in some capacity to help, and I feel very encouraged about the future of this organization. I think it's in great hands. I'm proud to have been part of it for 6 years. And as a concerned citizen, I just want to thank all of you board members and staff for your service. This is an exceptionally important service that we provide the community, and I'm grateful to have been part of it. So thank you.
Taronda? Let's see.
Thank you all for the opportunity to work with an amazing group of people. I'm excited about the future of this organization, but I'm also excited about making impact in this really important health issue of infant mortality. And I'm just excited to have been a part of all of this, just like Glenn said. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, Taronda and Glenn. We will miss you. We really will. Finally, I would like to take a minute to hand over the leadership for Healthy Start to our new president, Audrey Moore. Healthy Start could not be in better hands than with Audrey. She is smart, deliberative in her thinking and actions, and committed to this organization. So, well, Audrey, thank you. So Audrey, would you like to say a few words?
Sure, thank you. Yes, so my name's Audrey Moore, and I am so looking forward to this next year and all the things we're going to accomplish together. I'm excited to get started, and I want to thank everyone who stepped up and agreed to be part of the executive team. And you new members, I'm looking at you too. There'll be plenty of things for everyone to do this year. But I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to thank Deborah Dowds and Chris Sorstick, whose name I will totally get right once this year, I promise. I'm working on it. These two fabulous ladies have led this organization through a hopefully once in a lifetime year. None of us knew how this was going to work, and they were able to lead us through and help everybody pivot so that we could still get this important work done. I know it wasn't easy, but they made it look easy. And I just want to give everybody an opportunity for a round of applause for them. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Audrey. Okay, well, we got done with our business part of our meeting a little bit earlier, and because the 12:30 is when additional people, I think, will be joining us. So I'd like to just take a few minutes and see if some of the other people that were on the call today, maybe other than our board members, would like to just say a few words about themselves and where they're from. And let's see, I see Claudia Blackburn. I mean, Claudia, you're an ex officio member of the board, I should note. But I'm so glad that you could be here today. And you're with the health department, correct?
Yes, thank you. And sorry, I've been eating lunch in the background. I didn't want y'all to have to watch. I'm delighted to be here. And I, like you all, have been so impressed with the leadership of Chris and the board this past year. Plowing through and staying focused on the service delivery plan and taking a leadership role on maternal child health issues in the community for the community health improvement plan. And I've tried to be involved with those discussions as much as possible, though it's been really difficult this past year. So I'm glad that hopefully the worst of the pandemic is behind us, though we're keeping an eye on the variants. And just happy to be here and be part of this conversation today.
Great. Well, we're glad that you could be here too. I'm just going to pick, I see Stephanie Cash. You're with the Healthy Families of Franklin, Wakulla, and Gulf County, home visiting. I'm so glad you could be here with us today.
Yeah, thank you for having us. I did log on a little early, and I've just been busy doing some of my own business in the background while listening to the business meeting. Excited to hear about the rest of the meeting coming up. But I always enjoy working with you guys and seeing what we can do to make the lives of the families and children we serve better. So yeah, looking forward to this next year and the 5-year service delivery plan. Thanks.
Oh, wonderful. And I see Jessica De Leon. Jessica was very involved with our needs assessment. I mean, she kept us on track on how to do stuff. I'm glad you could join us today, Jessica.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, I helped with our needs assessment. We're working with Healthy Start for quite a while. I'm at FSU College of Medicine. Cultural anthropologist is my background, so I've always been interested in maternal child health and working with women and children, both in urban and rural areas. So coming here to Tallahassee about a decade ago now, wanted to work with this community and got involved with the College of Medicine with my colleague, Dr. Brown Spates, who's also, she's a family doc, who's been working with Healthy Start as well. So I was happy to help always, and just so proud to be part of this group.
Great, thank you. I see Sakita Rose Green with the Children's Home Society, and You worked with us on the service delivery plan at all these different work group meetings. And you are also the new provider for our care coordination, our home visiting program for Leon County. I'm so glad you could be here today.
Yes, thank you. I am Sika Rose Green, and Deborah pretty much took care of it. I'm Regional Executive Director for Children's Home Society of Florida, Big Bend region. We service 8 counties, and then we have one program that services 14 counties in the Big Bend. And we are so very proud to be the new provider of Healthy Start Care Coordination Services starting July 1. So thank you so much for just working with us so closely. I enjoyed every minute of working on the SDP, and I look forward to continuing my relationship with the coalition.
Great, thank you. And I see Big Bend 211 folks. Randy Nicholas, thank you for coming, and I think you have a couple of staff, and I think we hope that you all become a real important player between all of your 211 services and Help Me Grow. And they serve the parents and the young children of this community. I think there's so much that we have in common with our work between our 2 organizations, and I look forward to us working together on this.
Yeah, well, welcome. Yeah, Amber's our Help Me Grow program coordinator, and I'm the president of the agency. And we have another program too that besides 211 that works with maternal mental health, and that's our Family Health Line. That's a statewide hotline. So we're very happy to be partners with you, and look forward to finding ways that we can continue to work together. So thank you.
I just wanted to say hi. Sorry, my camera's off. I got in a rainstorm, but I'm Amber Freeman. Like Randy said, I am the program coordinator with Help Me Grow. And I love working with you guys and like Healthy Start, Coalition, and Jefferson, Madison, and Taylor. So I'm excited to learn more and see how else I can get involved. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. This is great. I see Gina Olson with Department of Children and Families. Gina, tell us a little bit about what you do.
Hi there. Nice to see you. I've seen many of you on our Community Alliance, which we have quarterly, which addresses the children's issues in our servitude area. Also recently partnered with Chris on a Safe Sleep bag that we gave to our child protective investigators. So it had some safe sleep information. It had the onesie and stuff from Chris. And then we also partner with ELC so we can include a board book in there so moms can be reading to their babies. So just a good support, and I'm here if anybody needs anything. Thank you.
Great. Well, welcome. Let's see. Let's do 1 or 2 more, and then we'll start on our next phase of our meeting. Amanda Haynes with the FSU College of Medicine.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I guess I can turn on my camera. Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Amanda Haynes. I am a program manager at FSU College of Medicine in the Department of Behavioral Sciences and Social Medicine. I manage support programs for maternal mental health as well as pediatric behavioral health in the States. I am a former board member for Healthy Start. I am a former home visitor for Healthy Start. So I definitely believe in the mission, and I'm very happy to see the progress on this 5-year service delivery plan. And I'm looking forward to continue work with Chris and Healthy Start around the Sister Friends Birthing Project initiative. Dr. Hayes is on the leadership board there. So I'm really excited about this work. Thanks for having me.
Great, thank you. We're so glad you're here. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and get started on the second part of our meeting. I think we have some people that are starting to join us, so I'm going to just sort of start from the beginning. Welcome, everyone. My name is Deborah Dowds, and I'm the current president of the Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. Thank you for for joining us today. We are excited to share with you the 5-year service delivery plan to improve maternal and child health in our community. Healthy Start and other community partners have been working on this effort for the last 2 years, starting with a comprehensive needs assessment. Several of you participated in the needs assessment and development of the plan, and we hope many more will be joining us to help implement this plan. Our hope is that this plan becomes a community service delivery plan. We have a full agenda and with so much to cover. Therefore, as we did with our earlier business meeting, if you're just now coming on, if we would ask if you could put your name and who you represent in the chat box, that would be great. All of the Healthy Starts across the state have spent the last 2 years working on a needs assessment of the prenatal and infant healthcare needs in their communities and developing a 5-year service delivery plan to address those needs. Our Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition completed this same process. All of you were invited to participate along the way, and some of you attended some of our many meetings. What we found from the needs assessment were areas of needs that were beyond the scope of our Healthy Start Coalition alone, and instead need the attention and effort of the many community players who are also dedicated to the health of moms, infants, and families. These areas of need that we identified are access to care, maternal mental health, substance use, racial disparity, and health outcomes. I think each of you are interested and likely already working on affecting one or more of these issues. I strongly believe we can accomplish so much more if we work together. Healthy Start is therefore creating a community partnership alliance with community advocates and organizations who we hope will be active partners in addressing these needs and implementing the goals and objectives of the 5-year service delivery plan. We believe that improving the health of moms, babies, and families is something we all want. And while we are each working toward that goal in our own way, there are issues and needs that cannot be accomplished independently. It takes all of us joining in to plan and carry out part of the strategies that will address these needs and issues. We are asking for your help, not to advise Healthy Start on what to do, but to be active partners that work jointly together on these priority issues. I'm going to turn the meeting over now to Chris. And I'm also somebody who cannot pronounce her name. So I'm sorry, Chris, I'm gonna learn. And Chris is going to review for you the service delivery plan.
Thank you, Deborah. I'm Chris Sorchik, and that is a tough last name, so it's okay, everybody. I'm the Executive Director with Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition, and I would like to take a minute just to express my special thank you to the Service Delivery Plan team. Their donation of time and commitment to the moms and babies of Leon and Wakulla counties was instrumental in this process. As Deborah said, the Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition and our 23-member needs assessment team worked on various aspects of our needs assessment in 2019 and 2020 to provide the foundation of our comprehensive assessment of needs and gaps in services that impact birth outcomes and the health and well-being of pregnant women, infants, and children in Leon and Wakulla counties. As part of the needs assessment process, we researched and compiled an inventory of local resources and services to identify programs, resources, and services that are available locally for moms, babies, and families in our community, and to identify unmet needs that can be addressed through our coalition. As Deborah stated, our coalition identified through this rigorous process that one of the unmet needs locally is access to medical and mental health services prior to, during, and after pregnancy. Our community has some services available in this area, but not all of them are available to all families. Racial disparity in health is evident as an issue as shown in the pregnancy outcome disparities in our 2 counties. Community-wide efforts in improving maternal and child health have been ongoing, but barriers exist in creating a community holistic approach in improving the health and lives of all moms, babies, and families. Our community also identified a stronger need locally to address the issue of pregnant women using substances that can result in substance-exposed newborns and increased abuse and neglect in children. In this service delivery plan, we incorporated the 4 priority areas into 3 broader categories. Access to care, which incorporates any and all barriers our prenatal women, postnatal women, preconceptional women, and families of infants and children have that hindered their process of obtaining medical and mental health services locally. We are addressing racial disparities in healthcare in efforts to reduce the infant mortality rate disparities. For the years of 2017 to 2019 in our catchment area, the infant mortality rate for Black women was 10.8 per 1,000 live births compared to 4.1 per 1,000 live births for white women. Causes of the disparity are multifaceted, and our service delivery plan is solution-based in efforts to help bridge the gap. Since substance use is a mental health issue and can result in newborn substance exposure in utero, our 3rd priority area combines maternal mental health with substance exposed newborns. If moms with mental health issues recognized when they need help and got the help they needed, this would improve birth outcomes and decrease child abuse and neglect. Goals, objectives, and action plans were created for each of these priority areas. We do not expect that the priority areas, goals, and objectives are going to change over the next 5 years. The coalition will evaluate and update the action plan each fiscal year based on completed action steps, new strategies created, and partners engaged. Due to the time constraints we have today, I would like to go through our 5-year goals and the objectives for each of the priority areas. The full report with the action steps for year 1 was provided prior to the meeting. Under our access to care subcategory, we have our first goal is all women of childbearing age have easy access to quality health care. The objectives defined are to ensure that barriers to access quality health care are identified and achievable solutions are implemented. Educate women of reproductive age about resources available for quality health care in both Leon and Wakulla counties. Galvanize and expand partnerships between organizations and entities who can assist with reducing barriers to access to quality health care. Provide community members who are either underinsured or uninsured with information about where they can obtain medical care at low to no cost. Goal 2 is to increase community awareness and understanding of the system of care for pregnant women and infants. We're going to do this through educating the community about local resources and tools that support healthy pregnancies in infants. We're going to educate and collaborate community agencies, faith-based organizations, and healthcare providers on these local resources and tools and have them help us disseminate this information. Under racial disparities in health outcomes, our first goal is to reduce the number of preterm and low birth weight babies born to Black women. We're going to do this through increasing the number of Black women who enter care in their first trimester. We're going to educate Black women of childbearing age on the impact of risk factors on future pregnancies and health and infant health. Educate men on the importance of the health on pregnancy and birth outcomes, and increase the number of referrals into services for Black women with identified risk factors for adverse pregnancy and birth outcomes. Goal 2 is to provide resources to empower all women to take control of their health to improve pregnancy outcomes. We're going to provide community education regarding the importance of preconception and prenatal care and how they influence maternal health and pregnancy outcomes. We're going to provide resources and tools that help enhance women's prenatal care and pregnancy outcomes. We're going to educate the community on how the social determinants of health impact maternal health and pregnancy outcomes in Black women, and educate Black women and men on the importance of breastfeeding and the resources available for breastfeeding and lactation support. Our third goal is to establish collaborative partnerships to provide diversity, equity, and inclusion education to maternal health care providers. We want to identify those with expertise in healthcare disparities to assist with incorporating diversity, equity, and inclusion principles into the healthcare workforce and encourage education of healthcare providers on implicit bias. Our final priority area, maternal mental health and substance exposure. Goal 1, ensure women of childbearing age in Leon and McCullough counties are aware of maternal mental health issues and have access to quality mental health services. We'll do this by working with community partners to identify women and mothers who experience depression and other mental health issues, and work with community partners to increase the number of pregnant women and mothers who access mental health services. Goal 2 is to ensure women of childbearing age in Leon and Wakulla counties are aware of the adverse effects of substance use on pregnancy outcomes and healthy infants. We're going to educate women of childbearing age about risks of substance use and where they can receive intervention services, and educate the community about these risks, the risks of substance use on pregnancy outcomes and the health of infants. And that is the end of the goals and objectives outlined in our 5-year service delivery plan for each of our priority areas.
Okay, would like to take a minute. Are there any questions or thoughts that anyone would like to share regarding the plan that Chris described? Okay. Okay, so as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done. Participating in the Alliance does not mean that you will be working on all the goals and objectives outlined in the plan. Based on your focus and your expertise, or that of your organization, you may want to become involved in one of the priority areas, or just maybe one of the goals or 2 of the goals. I'd like to go ahead and turn this over to Dr. Monica Hayes. Will be our new president-elect, to talk about the structure and sort of meeting schedule for the Alliance.
Monica, you're on mute.
Better?
There you go.
Okie doke. So one of the things that we had to think about was how frequently to meet. And so the thought was that the individual work groups could meet regularly, but that we would come together as a group quarterly to be able to assess the progress that we've made on the objectives in each of the targeted areas. And so, for example, for the access to care, the focus would be priority number 1. Racial disparities in health would focus on priority area number 2. And then maternal mental health and substance abuse would focus on priority area number 3. There's going to be a lot of work and time put into this, but the way that we have tried to structure it is that we don't begin with a blank slate. So some of us have been working on coming up with specific goals and objectives and strategies so that when we begin to meet, we will have something to begin with for you guys to resonate with, to see whether or not you agree with what we've come up with and how we can move quickly to begin to implement some of these. So we're looking in terms of quarterly reviews of progress made, understanding that for the first year, we're sort of laying the foundation for how this is all going to work, who's going to be a part of the coalition, which groups you're going to be involved with, and then to look forward to the second year to really fully develop and get moving on so many of these steps.
So let's take a minute and see what you all think about this community partnership alliance and working on the service delivery plan. What are your thoughts?
Come on, guys, we need your input about this because we can't go forward without knowing what you're thinking and what you might be interested in. So please unmute yourselves and give us the feedback. It's a really important part of the reason that we're having this conversation, including you. We need to hear from you, please.
Well, one of the, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
So
go
this,
ahead.
this is Sika, and I'm going to jump in because I'm going to need to jump off and won't be able to stay for the whole meeting. I really, really, really am excited about the approach. I also look forward to our organization being a part of this community partnership alliance, because as a participant in the SDP and on the racial disparities subgroup, it is going to take all of us to try to meet this 5-year plan. So Chris actually just emailed me to see if we would be interested in participating. That is a resounding yes. And I think that it fits in well with the work that we will be doing as the new provider for Leon County. So sign me up, I am in. I will also be pulling in members of our team as appropriate. And so I'm just very excited to be in this space now. This is very personal for me as well as professional. And I just thank all of you for just allowing us to come into this space.
Wonderful, thank you.
And I'm gonna have to jump off, but I look forward to seeing everybody as we move into the work that has to be done.
Thank you so much, Shika, thank you. Others, please, we need to hear from you.
Amandla has asked if you can screen share the timeline again, please.
So the work groups will meet monthly starting in July. And then the full coalition or the full partnership will meet in September. So individual work groups, July, August, all 3 groups will come together in September, and that will carry out through the entire year.
A main question, Chris, people are going to have is how do you volunteer? How do you sign up? Or if you have a friend or somebody that wants to get involved, what do they do to sign up?
Well, that's so I will go ahead and go to my next thing. That's what I'm going to talk about next. So the next step is seeing if you're interested in participating. And what we'd like for you to start this process is, if you're interested, to put your name in the chat box and identify which work group you'd be interested in. And if you're not interested, you're not ready to respond now, you can email Chris once you've decided. We're going to be scheduling the first set of targeted work group meetings for the end of July. So if you've put your name down that you're interested for one of the work groups, we'll include you in a poll, a doodle poll that Chris will send out to determine the best date and time. But everybody who's on the call today will get notice of all the meetings, so you can decide to participate later on. Okay. So any questions on that? And then I'm going to move into the.
I think, if I may, Deborah, just say one more thing to help folks make the decision. This is going to take work. And so there's a really good structure in place to keep us focused and on target. We've got built-in timeframes to help us to make sure that we meet the timeframe, so that when we come together for the quarterly meetings, we're really reporting on progress that has been made to reach these goals. So the work is going to be intense, but focused and structured. And I think with the help of folks that are on this call, we will be able in a year to look back to see that we have established a very strong foundation for work that will continue for the remaining years of this plan. So I would encourage you to put your names in, because, you know, when we talk about it takes a village, that's what we are. We're the village, and we're going to need you. So please sign up.
Yeah, just to piggyback on what, Monica said, we are in the process of developing, she had mentioned, work plans that sort of, and I think your first meetings will probably be looking at, okay, so what does you'll have something in front of you that it provides a broad sort of structure about what needs to be done by, quarterly when, and you have an opportunity to go, well, let's move this here and let's change this here, but I think it'll give you, like she said, and not starting from scratch. And then the other thing that we need to do is pull in more partners. We're going to look at for the particular action or strategy we're working on, who do we need to involve? We have a whole set of action steps under an objective dealing with the faith-based community. And so we need to be pulling those in, and we're going to need your help in terms of, who are good players and who would be good for that. So, we're really excited about the potential here, and but we can't do it by ourselves. So, so the next step is approval.
This is
of
Maisha. Can I make a comment?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Hi, this is yeah, I'm sorry. I'm driving, so I can't show my face. Listen, I just want to make a comment about the Partnership Alliance and how important it is to all of our work. So I know in each of your areas, you have certain goals you have to accomplish. And the way I've worked with it is to look at some of the things that I know I need to do in my community, in my organization, and then collaborate with those agencies who have similar ideas and missions. And oftentimes that helps you to decide how and where you can put your energy. Because our time is really busy now. Everybody is, just bombarded with so much stuff. But if we can jointly look at the goals that we share and then collaborate to reading those goals, it makes it so much easier to get the work done. So everyone's looking for partnerships and collaboration. So when you're even looking for additional funding and resources, this is a great way to start that collaborative effort. And so I encourage you to think about that, how we both can work together to jointly get our goals met in the best interest of everyone. So the interest of your organization and the interest of Healthy Start for the general interest of the community. So it's a wonderful work. Thank you, Chris, for providing the opportunity for us to share. And I'm looking forward to continuing.
Maisha brought up a really good point that, we've all got different things that we're working on that might be similar. And what you might find in looking at what we plan to work on, that there's something that you're already sort of working on, but maybe what we're doing will help you achieve, be more successful at what you're trying to do. And, in addition to helping achieve what we've laid out. So this could be, very much a two-way street. Any other comments or thoughts? Okay, great. Well, the next thing is that our current bylaws require that the service delivery plan be approved by the community members. So during the business meeting, which was noon to 12:30, the original voting community members voted to change the bylaws to shift the involvement of the community members to the Community Partnership Alliance, as we've been discussing. However, the last function of the original community members that needs to be fulfilled is the approval of the service delivery plan by the voting community members who participated in the business meeting. So I guess before we go into a voting motion and voting mode, are there any comments that anyone would like to make regarding approving this plan? And this is approving it to send it to the Department of Health. So any comments that anybody would like to make regarding that? Okay, so can I get a motion from one of the voting members that were participated in the business meeting to approve this? Monica?
Yes, I make a motion.
Thank you, Monica. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Lizette. All those in any discussion? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, it passes. Okay, so now just in closing, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us. We've got a few minutes. I think what I'd like to do before we just sign off is what we did earlier. Is sort of go, we didn't have time to really introduce ourselves. If there are people that came on that I'd really like to hear from, who you are and where you're from. So if some of you that have come on since our original business meeting would like to just to say a few words about who you are. I see Faye Gardner. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm just happy that we have this plan going, and I think it's going to help us in our job. So
great. Thank you. And where are you from?
I'm with Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. I'm an intake specialist.
Okay, I apologize. I don't know all the stuff.
We have
okay. We're not at the office anymore, so.
We have several staff members with us today, Deborah. We have Faye Gardner, who is an intake specialist. Olivia Alford, who is the administrative assistant to the coalition. Christine DeFries, who is the operations and communications director. Jasmine Thornton, who is the FEMA program coordinator and outreach specialist. Sandy Glazer, who is the administrative director. Vanessa Wynn, who is another intake specialist with us. And we have Chloe, and Chloe, I can't say your last name, but Chloe is an interning in our CINR program with Danielle, who was not able to make it this afternoon. I think I caught all of the staff.
Chloe, what program are you in?
At FSU, I'm a social work student, bachelor student.
Thanks.
Chloe, can you say your name for us, please?
It's pronounced Newsanger. It's like new singer with a country accent, Newsanger.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love it.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us, and I hope you all will continue to join us as we work on this. You will get notices of all the targeted work group and alliance meetings, and so that you can track what we're doing. And if you signed up for one of the targeted work groups, you'll get a doodle poll. If you don't want to get those notices, please just email Chris. And I thank you again. I thank you again for being here and being interested in this. And I hope we get to see you again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.